The big news everyone's talking about is Donald Trump has won the presidential election. And I know a lot of people are feeling upset and disappointed about that, but I'm going back to Mexico. Hi everyone, welcome back to What's Up with DJ. I'm your host, DJ, and it feels so good to be back in your earbuds again. I missed you all. A lot has happened since my last episode. A presidential election happened, and can you believe it? The big news everyone's talking about,
extra, read all about it,
is that Trump is going to get his second term, or maybe he'll be King Trump. I don't know. He seems to want to take office and never leave. But the big news everyone's talking about is Donald Trump has won the presidential election. And yes, you heard that right. If you haven't heard already, I'm sure you've already heard that that Trump won and Kamala lost. So that means that Vice President Kamala didn't make it to the Oval Office. And I know a lot of people are feeling upset and disappointed about that. But at the same time, there's a whole bunch of people who are happy and satisfied with the result.
We Trump, baby! Finally, mother. Pardon my language. The man who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up.
I just don't understand. I was lost. I was hurt. I was heartbroken that this qualified woman, so perfect as a president, was just not chosen by our country. And it hurt me. It really did.
It's a mixed bag of emotions out there. You know, America is a democracy, and the majority wins, or at least the electoral college does. Is one of those quirky features of our political system that always seems to spark debate every 4 years. Love it or hate it, it's part of what makes our elections uniquely American. But for now, let's move off of politics for a moment. And guess what else is happening? I'm going back to Mexico. How are you doing? That's the thing that I want to ask. And I seriously mean it. So many times we ask each other, how are you doing? And don't really stick around for the answer. But I mean it. Hit the pause button just for a moment and close your eyes. Or not. Hit this, but close your eyes and just take a breath in. And hold it for just a moment, for a few seconds. And exhale. And ask yourself, how am I doing really? And for me, I'm doing a lot better. And I guess it's because I'm going to Mexico. So we're 11 months into 2024. Can you believe it? Sometimes it feels like the year is flying by and it's all like a blur. I mean, Thanksgiving is just around the corner, and after Thanksgiving comes Christmas. Have you started Christmas shopping yet? I usually try to shop throughout the year to avoid the last minute rush, but I've been pretty slow on my gift buying game this year and last year. But if you got any great Christmas gift suggestions, please send them my way. Seriously, help a guy out. I need to get on Santa's good list. So before we dive into anything else, I want to share a quick life update. I'm planning to take a little vacation soon, and I'm super duper excited. about heading back to Mexico, a place that's become like a second home to me. I don't want to say a second home, but I really enjoy visiting this spiritual retreat that I go to. Yeah, I've been twice already, and this will be the third time that I've been in the last probably year and a half. But I love Mexico because of its food and culture, and of course the beaches. But most importantly, I enjoy attending spiritual retreats there. Anything that enhances and increases my spiritual personal development is a big yes in my book. And I've been talking to a few folks about this upcoming trip to Mexico and just in general spiritual retreats. And I've been thrilled to hear that many others are headed in the same direction in terms of seeking growth, enlightenment, and a bit of, I guess, adventure. Maybe we'll cross paths on a sun-soaked beach or in a meditation circle. Um, is anything happening? Is anything exciting happening in your world? One thing that I do believe is that it's always good to have something to look forward to. I absolutely would love to hear about anything that you are excited about that's happening in the near future. I absolutely love to hear about it. Share your updates with me on Instagram and Twitter. I'll put my handle or profile right here. It's at What's Up with DJ. So, but I'm imagining a world where we are all connected. Well, we are all connected, but we are supporting each other. Social media, used correctly, can do just that. So feel free to drop me a line on social media or email me. I want to take a moment to express my sincere gratitude for each and every one of you, whether you've been listening since day one or just joined the party. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in, for sharing your thoughts, and for leaving those amazing reviews. If you love the show, leave a review on Google or Apple Podcasts. It means the world to me and helps others find our little corner of the podcast universe. So speaking of reviews, I want to give a special shout out to Raymond, who left such a kind review last week. He said, DJ's podcast is like catching up with an old friend, informative, fun, and always leaves me thinking. Keep up the great work. Well, thank you, Raymond. I really appreciate that. Your words truly made my day. Also, a big thanks to my friend Marquita. Your kind words and support really touch my heart. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Love you. And listeners like you are the reason I do what I do. Okay, enough of the mushy stuff. Before I get all teary-eyed, let's get back to the reason we're all here. So in today's discourse, or in today's episode, so how will Trump change the White House? So I woke up November 6th to find that Trump had won the election. And to be honest, I wasn't entirely surprised. No, Kamala Harris didn't have a lot of time to make a significant impact as a presidential candidate. So she was at a real disadvantage. Plus, many people have felt disenfranchised during the Biden term.
The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization is seen as unconscionable, and it's un-American. It's totally contrary to everything we've done, everything we've been.
So I've been listening to some of Trump's speeches from his rallies and trying to get a sense of what changes he would bring to the table during his term. One thing that caught my attention, well, a few things caught my attention, and one of those things was his proposal about law enforcement and shoplifters.
You know, these people are killing people when they go into the stores. You'll have 300 young people who are not looking for a good future walk into a store, big department store, and just pillage it. And if you happen to be there when they're there, they'll knock the hell out of you and kill you in some cases. And we will immediately stop all of the pillaging and theft. Very simply, if you rob a store, you can fully expect to be shot as you are leaving that store. Shot. And everything will immediately stop. You won't have any more of that.
Which, law enforcement good when they're doing their jobs. Shoplifters bad, So he suggested that police should have the authority to shoot shoplifters on the spot. And people are really upset about shoplifting. No one should be shoplifting, but if you've seen the stuff that I've seen on TikTok and YouTube, with people just going into CVS or Walgreens and just snatching stuff. Just snatching. That's horrible to see, especially if you're a business owner. And you should be doing that anyway. But this is a drastic proposal. And if this drastic proposal becomes a reality, it would definitely make people think twice about shoplifting. But at what cost? I wonder. It's a controversial stance that raises a lot of ethical and legal questions. And then the second thing that caught my attention about Trump is that his promises to crack down on immigration.
Tonight, hundreds of miles south of the border in Mexico, a caravan of migrants chanting, "We are not criminals," is rushing to make it to the U.S.-Mexico border before the Trump administration is sworn in.
We don't want just people just coming from all other countries and just coming here and causing problems, especially if they're criminals. But he's talking about cracking down on immigration and aiming for mass deportations. And experts are saying this goal is unrealistic because it required an enormous number of immigration officers. But then again, it's typical of Trump to make grand promises, and then those promises may be challenging, if not impossible, to fulfill. And when things don't, Trump is known for making promises that he can't fulfill. And then when he can't fulfill them, he just says that the Democrats are the ones that is delaying the progress. When the truth is, Mexico is never going to pay for a wall for the United States. And the Democrats not holding that up is simply that they're not going to pay for it. But that was what he campaigned his first term on. On the economic issues that Trump has campaigned hard, he says that he will reduce inflation. He claims that inflation will completely vanish, or inflation will vanish completely. However, many economists warn that his policies, such as massive tariffs and deporting migrant workers and trying to influence the Federal Reserve decisions, could make inflation worse.
The most beautiful word in the dictionary is tariff. The higher the tariff, the more likely it is that the company will come into the United States and build a factory in the United States so it doesn't have to pay the tariff.
That may very well in the long term be good for the US economy. It will absolutely undoubtedly be terrible for inflation in the short term. The 2018 tariffs added about 2 percentage points onto the cost of the imports. The tariffs he's talking about now, if he really goes through with it, will add 17 percentage points.
Yeah, the national debt is $36 trillion. And economists are saying that with Trump being in office and with his policies, he will increase that debt by $7 trillion. Well, maybe in there's some stimulus packages. Well, you know what? I'm not a big fan of his policies, but I do like a stimulus check. So I can't deny that there were some financial perks during his first term, even if he didn't directly create them, like those stimulus payments and those extra holidays he gave us. And who doesn't like a little cash and some time off, right? So the next chapter in American politics is bound to bring some big shifts. I was watching CNN this morning and they were scrambling to explain what went wrong for the Democrats.
And I spent a lot of time with Trump voters, and I talked to them about why they're so angry with our party. And they will go through a litany, going all the way back to Ronald Reagan, about all of the failures of the party writ large, and say, you know what, maybe I don't like Donald Trump. Maybe I don't like some of the rhetoric he uses. But you know what, sure, Michael, he's putting a spotlight on all of the failures from George W. Bush and the wars, and my son was killed, and the trillions of dollars we spent. Or I'll go back to the Gingrich era, and they said they were going to do this in terms of morality, and look what the hell happened. And folks are still angry about those things, Jeff. And I think the failure was on us as a party to not address those things. And we promised to address them, and we never got around to it, as long as we were winning elections.
But to me, it's pretty simple. Trump made a bunch of promises that resonated with a lot of people, even if he may not be able to keep them. So honestly, I have to admit, I'm curious to see how Trump's presidency will shape the country this time around. I'm sure both conservative and liberal news outlets feel the same way. They're excited, is that, even though they pretend they're not, they are excited that Trump is going to be back in office. Even if they won't say it outright, they're likely glad he's staying in the political spotlight. After all, someone like Trump is a ratings powerhouse. He keeps people and the viewership engaged. Conservative and liberal alike don't want to see Trump stepping off the international political stage anytime soon. Because he brings in ratings, and ratings bring in dollars. I'm sure they're deep down excited that they have another 4 years of exciting news and to report about Trump. Yeah, there are people who love Trump, and there are people who love to hate Trump, and that right there is ratings juggernaut. It really is. Regardless if they like him or hate him, you look at their news briefings. It's all Trump, all Trump. So regardless, they say they don't like him or whatever, we know the truth. We know the truth. So, and that brings us to the end of another episode. Thank you so much for tuning in to the What's Up with DJ podcast and spending some time with me. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed talking to you. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, here on YouTube to get your podcast fix so you never miss an episode. And if you're feeling extra generous, leave a rating, a review, a thumbs up, subscribe. It really helps other awesome people like you discover the show. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep being amazing. And I'll catch you in the next episode. Again, remember, we're all in this together, navigating the twists and turns of life. Stay connected, stay informed, and most importantly, stay you. See you soon.
Cross the line. I feel calm when you're around.
think